We've gone around the assessment cycle and ended up here at the use of results. In this video, we'll talk about 4 ways that programs often respond to results: monitoring, change to assessment methodology, change to the learning environment, and finally, learning improvement. Let's return to our running hypothetical example, the BA in comic book collectibles. In the previous video, we saw that students were meeting expectations for writing a comic book sales description on 3 out of 4 criteria. But the 4th criterion, unique attributes, showed underperformance. The curriculum map indicated that writing a sales description was emphasized in 3 courses, but it didn't explain why students struggled with unique attributes. The first response might be, students are struggling in this area. We'll keep an eye on it. This is a monitoring response, which in itself isn't bad, but if a program does monitoring for every SLO every year, it's hard to see how student learning will improve. Another response might be that the faculty decide that this subskill isn't important anymore, and they strike that part of the SLO and they take that criterion off of the rubric. This is a change in methodology. The program is realigning assessment to correspond with its values. Under this change in methodology umbrella, programs might change their assessment instrument, they might have a better sampling design, or they may analyze data in a different way. All these moves are reasonable, but they fail to change the learning environment, which brings us to our next scenario. Now, imagine that the program cares about unique attributes and wants to improve student performance. Faculty will need to dig in, to investigate the instrument, to investigate students, to investigate the learning environment. Let's imagine that the faculty who teach those 3 courses about writing a sales description get together in a Zoom meeting. One of the first things they might do is take a look at the rubric. They'll zoom in the unique attributes criterion. They'll look at the behavioral descriptions from 1 to 4. That will give them greater context about the performance and perhaps what to do next. Students are scoring a 1.5, which is between beginning and developing. And recall that the beginning level is just the facts. And that's what students are doing, essentially. They're not adding much more detail than they would to a regularly priced comic book. Let me give you an example of what part of a 4 response might look like. What you're looking at is Tales of Suspense number 39. This is the first appearance of Iron Man. In mid-grade, this book is tens of thousands of dollars. In high grade, it can be hundreds of thousands or even $1 million. Take a look at this copy. A pro is going to see this particular feature and knows that clientele will want to hear about it. This issue was notorious to have its page cut so that those full double quotes on the right-hand side are either missing or one of those quotation marks is missing. Having a copy that has that double quote on the right-hand side, boy, that gets my snobby comic book juices flowing. I digress. Now that we have a good sense of how students are performing relative to the rubric criterion, we need to go into the curriculum to see what's happening. Here's where the faculty can talk about their 3 courses and what's being emphasized regarding sales description. Here's what they find out. 215 teaches the basics, mostly focusing on notability. 401 still the basics, a little bit more on rarity and condition. And 480 is re-emphasizing what students learned in 215 and 401, and there might be a small mention about those unique attributes. We figured it out. Indeed, in these 3 courses, the faculty are talking about the written description, and they're covering most of the components, most being the key word. That last component or that last subskill of unique attributes, almost completely absent. The faculty then decide that they want to do something about it. And it's the faculty from the 401 and 480 courses say, hey, we'll handle this. They apply for a summer stipend and receive it. And they spend a few days during the summer revising their curriculum to emphasize unique attributes more. Here's what the changes include. In 401, helping students flag high-value books and study professional write-ups. And in 480, additional feedback, examples of excellent write-ups, and practice opportunities. That's wonderful. The learning environment actually changes, but it's not learning improvement yet because we haven't checked to see if those changes were actually effective, which brings us to true learning improvement. So the next cohort goes through, they received the changes in those 2 courses, and now we reassess to see how they perform. And indeed, this cohort performs a 3.2 out of 4, we can start to make that attribution that that change led to this improvement of student performance. In a nutshell, what is improvement? It is assess, effectively intervene, and then reassess to see if that change was indeed effective. That's the goal. That's what we want to achieve. Sadly, in higher education, that type of learning improvement is extremely rare to see. And that's why over the last dozen years, I've spent my time thinking about learning improvement and helping programs do it. If you want to see my introduction to learning improvement, then check out this video. Thanks so much for watching the Assessment 101 series, and I hope to see you around real soon.